welcome to the video. I have realised that I never actually introed this video. I never introed this vlog. To be honest, I wasn't actually expecting to film anything. I just started filming and then ended up with a good 2 or 3 days worth of footage. So I guess you can call this a bookish weekend vlog. You can expect to see lots of chats about literary fiction, book haul, we go to Ely, it's all very lovely and quite quaint. The book you will have just seen me read is The Possession by Annie Ernaux. She is the winner of the Nobel Prize in Literature. I don't know which year. This was such an impulse purchase. I went shopping the other day. I needed to go to Primark and I ended up in like a magazine shop and they also sell books in there. And this was such an impulse purchase. I told myself I wasn't going to buy a book. Obviously, I bought a book. And it's so short. This book is so short. I think it's literally 45 pages. I'm pretty sure this is autobiographical and it is Annie's story of being obsessed with her ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend and how this other woman literally takes over her life and sort of possesses her mind and her entire being. I have never seen jealousy and obsession written and discussed about in such a relatable way. I don't know what that says about me, given that I found this really relatable. I've never been obsessed with a man's new woman, but I have had a number of obsessions that I should never have had before. And I'm sure there will be many to come as I go through life, but this was so readable and it was so relatable. And I would really recommend it. It's also a Fitzcarraldo. I love me a Fitzcarraldo. I also picked up 2 other books this week. There will be more book shopping to come because I've just gone a bit crazy and I am now on a book buying ban at least for the rest of June. The 2 other books I picked up, the first one I'll talk about is Just Kids by Patti Smith. If you hear noises in the background, my cat is running around, despite the fact that the back window is open and he can go outside. I picked up Just Kids by Patti Smith. I didn't realise when I bought this, I actually have it downloaded on my Kindle, but I have been wanting to read this for ages and I was really hoping I would find a copy secondhand, but I've never found a copy secondhand, and to me that always sounds like a really good thing because that means people aren't giving it away. It means people, if they're buying it, they're keeping it. And I also picked it up because I've been listening to Taylor Swift's album The Tortured Poets Department a lot recently. It's probably my favourite album of hers at the moment. And obviously she references this book, I think in like 2 different songs. So I need to read it this summer. This book was such an impulse purchase. This is Caliban and the Witch by Silvia Federici. And I think this is non-fiction. I'm not normally a one for non-fiction. And I do intend to read this really, really slowly. But I think this book could change my life and change the way that I view the world, because it talks about how capitalism has infiltrated the body and how the body has been used as a tool to create capitalism as we know it, in particular with women and Indigenous communities and minority communities, and how their bodies have been taken advantage of completely to create capitalism as we know it. I don't care if this book takes me the rest of the year to read. I'm going to start it fairly soon and I'm probably going to tab it and I'm going to underline it and read it really slowly and absorb it. And yeah, I think I watched one video on TikTok about it and now I keep seeing other videos. So yeah.
Hello YouTube.
What have you got?
I've got a cold brew, which is just coffee and ice.
And I have an elderflower iced matcha. I've actually never had a matcha before, but if there's anything that's going to persuade me to try one, it's elderflower. That's actually really nice. I think it's because it just tastes like elderflower. That's really refreshing.
So you are a matcha girly now?
Well, I wouldn't go that far. We've come to Ely and we've gone to our favourite bookshop, which is Yapping and Company. We absolutely love it. Even Logan isn't much of a reader, but he has still bought 3 books.
And sometimes.
So we're going to show you what books we bought. Shall I go first?
Everyone...
Yeah? Okay, I'll go first. The first book I picked up is Clarice Lispector's Agua Viva because I finished her Near to the Wild Heart literally a few days ago and I thought her writing is absolutely brilliant, and I've heard this one is even better. So of course I had to pick it up, and it is a 5-star prediction.
That picture of her on the back.
Yeah.
My first one is a Star Wars book. It's by... oh no. Emma Miko Candon.
I love that cover.
Yeah, it's really pretty. Yeah, that's it. Star Wars.
The second book I picked up is Kudos by Rachel Cusk. I am really in my literary fiction mood at the minute, and I've heard Rachel Cusk is absolutely brilliant, and I wasn't sure which to pick up, this one or Parade, but when I read the blurb, this one just sounds like a bit of me. I love literary fiction that explores like philosophy and what it means to be a human, so I think I'm really going to enjoy her writing.
My next one is Fable for the End of the World by Ava Reid. Apparently it's really good, and I really liked the cover, so I picked it up. And it's like a dystopian, I think.
I've read another one of her books. She's got one, I can't remember what it's called, but it did the rounds not too long ago, and that was by Ava Reid, and that was really good.
Yeah.
I think you'll enjoy it.
I think so. I literally just picked it up because I thought it looked pretty, and then I read it and I was like, yeah, that actually sounds really good, so... Yep.
And then the last book I picked up is Happiness Forever by Adelaide Faith. I have never heard of this book before. It's a random pick. I love it walking into a bookshop and picking up a book that I've never seen before by an author I've never seen before. So I am excited to read this. I think this also is a literary fiction.
Ooh, she's in love with a therapist. Controversial.
Yeah.
He's gay.
Yeah, this is sapphic. We love it. There's a dog on the cover.
My last book is... oh gosh.
The Lies of Loch
The Lies of
Lamora.
Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch. Again, I base my books on if they look pretty or not. Until said that this is meant to be good, so yes. I love a thief, I love a rogue. Reminds me of Skyrim.
That's done the rounds on Booktok, and
it?
everything I've heard about it is absolutely brilliant.
So I saw the bit that says that Mr. Martin likes it, so...
I think it's set in like an alternative Venice.
Is it? Oh, it does look like Venice, actually.
And we liked Venice, didn't we?
Yeah.
Or an olden day Venice.
Yeah. Just sounds sick, so I bought it.
Sunday. My other half has gone away for the week. He left this morning, and you should have seen how miserable my dog looked. So to distract myself and our little dog, I thought I would treat myself to a coffee and then take the dog around our local park. It is a very big park, and I do think that distracted him temporarily from his misery. I haven't been able to take him out for a while because I hurt my ankle. I rolled it just shy of a month ago, and I'm only just really getting back up on my feet. But it was really nice to actually take him out and get some fresh air. If not, I would have just been sat in the house all day, which is fine, but like, I get cabin fever so easily, especially after having a month off work with my ankle. One of the things I really wanted to do was read, but I didn't really get a chance because there was just so much going on. There were so many children around, which is obvious. It's a Sunday, that is to be expected, but obviously children are noisy. I'm someone who really needs quiet, peace and quiet. When I read, like, I need it to be silent, maybe some background ambience at most, but so I don't tend to read very much out in public, but I thought I'd give it a go. Anyway, I'm rambling. I thought I would talk about some of the books that I want to read in June, because obviously June is Pride Month. The book that I took with me earlier that I really wanted to read is Disappoint Me by Nicola Denton. I read like a page before the dog ran off and started eating some random bread that had been left on the floor by another picnic table. So I didn't get very far today, but I am about 50 pages in. I started this yesterday. This story follows a trans woman called Max, and she is dating again, and she meets a man called Vincent and they start a relationship. And the story is told from two perspectives. You've got Max and Vincent. And I haven't read very much yet from Vincent's perspective. His perspective seems to be 10 years in the past when he goes traveling around Asia. But Max's perspective, she's so dry, she's so sarcastic, and I'm absolutely loving it. I love it when books, I think because I am dry and sarcastic, I love it when books are also. And I think that that's something that can be really difficult to come across, particularly in writing. So I have really high hopes for this one. It was actually her novel Bellies, Nicola Denton's first novel Bellies, that got me back into reading literary fiction, like 2 years ago. And this has been sat on my shelf since it was released last year. I've just been putting it off because I have such high hopes for it. But yes, I am excited to read this book. This is a 5-star prediction. I think it's going to be brilliant. This is Under the Idala Trees by Chinello Operanta. This is an absolute TBR veteran. This has been on my shelf for like 2 years. I have picked this book up and put it down, and picked the audiobook up and put the audiobook down like twice in the last couple of years. It's been on so many TBRs. This is set in 1968 in the Nigerian Civil War, and it follows a teenage girl, and I think she ends up in some form of sapphic relationship with her best friend, and her family find out, and obviously you're not allowed to be sapphic in this story. And I think it's going to be brilliant and beautifully, exquisitely written. I've heard so many wonderful, beautiful things about this book. I think there's something to be said for reading books that explore historical and social events. I would much rather read a book that explores these topics, like a fictional book that explores these topics through the eyes of, okay, albeit fictional, but a person, than read necessarily an essay or a non-fiction book about a particular time or event. And I just think that there's something to be said for reading diversely. I'm probably going to learn all about the Nigerian Civil War through reading this book, which is a topic that I wouldn't ordinarily know anything about. So I'm really excited to read this, and I'm hoping I will get through it this month in June. We have another literary fiction. This is Young Mungo by Douglas Stewart. This has been on my shelf again for a good year, if not 2. I think I picked this up. I can see the TK Maxx label on the back, so I must have picked this book up a good year or 2 ago. This is Young Mungo by Douglas Stewart. I have heard so many incredible things about Douglas Stewart's writing. I have been very nervous to pick one of his books up because I've heard they are heartbreaking. And his stories generally follow a male loving male romance or love affair of some description with a working class backdrop, and how difficult it is to be gay and in a gay relationship within that context. And I have heard his books are simply heartbreaking, which is why I have avoided reading this one. It has been sat on my shelf for so long, but I keep seeing Douglas Stewart's name around. I think he has had a recent release, I think John of John, which I haven't yet picked up. I'm going to read this one first and see how I get on with it. I think it's going to be beautiful. I think it's going to be heartbreaking. And I also think it's going to educate me again. Even if it is set in the UK, it's still set in a completely different community backdrop than what I am used to. And then the last book I want to read is Hungerstone by Kat Dunn, which I don't have a physical copy of. I will probably pick that up on my Kindle. And that is the weird fiction book club that I go to in my local town. That is our pick for June. And I believe it is a Carmilla retelling. We read Carmilla last month, and I hate to say this, but I actually found it quite boring. And I've heard mixed things about the retelling. Some people say that they absolutely loved it and they gave it 5 stars, whereas other people have said that it's just so average. So I'm really intrigued as to what I'm going to think of it, but that is another sapphic book that I need to read in June. So these are the books that I am going to be concentrating on in June. Whether I will get through all of them or not, I don't know, and I don't mind if this takes me into July because that is a lot of words. But yes, hopefully I will get through some of these books. Absolute TBR veterans that have been on my list for some of them 2 years. So